What's up, guys? Today I'm gonna be doing a create with me and YAP. Partially because I've been wanting to get my hands on some clay and just making stuff. Partially because I want to YAP, so why not just do them together? Yeah, I've been doing this thing lately where instead of scrolling, I will like pull up a old cartoon I used to watch. Like on YouTube, I've been getting them suggested. And I'll just like draw and doodle and stuff like that while I'm watching the old cartoons, and it's been like really healing for my inner child, because it just almost feels like, because especially some of the recordings are like literal, this is exactly what aired on like, I don't know, November 4th, 2004 or something like that. So it's just like, I could definitely see that like version of myself sitting there in front of the TV watching it at the same time as this version of myself here. And it like brings up good memories, it brings up some not so good memories, but it's like just good to like go through them as an adult and like, you know, either affirm myself if I need that, or just be like, oh, let's relive that for a minute. I don't know if y'all can hear, but my neighbors are like clearly throwing a party at 2 p.m. on a Thursday, so that's like crazy, but apartment life. Anyways, so yeah, I'm also gonna be yapping during this because I've been having so many thoughts lately, and I just feel like every time I have my thoughts, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna make a video about this. And then I put on the camera and I sit and I'm like, and I just don't know what to say. But it's like, I know I have the thoughts because they come and they bombard me and they just never stop. So I'm like, I want to get them out, but I'm like, maybe if I'm just like, you know, just chilling and vibing with y'all, then, okay, cool, I didn't need all of them to come out. But yeah, if I'm just chilling and vibing with y'all, then they'll just come out, so. I miss the smell of Play-Doh. Like, oh, I could taste it. The Play-Doh, I mean. I don't know, if y'all were one of those kids who ate Play-Doh as well, let me know. Cause like, you're not gonna make me feel crazy for that. Y'all know it was salty and good. Oh my God. There's just something about the feeling of clay that just like, yeah, you know. I think my neighbors are playing Beyonce. Cause I'm in that hoe. Oh, they're at the dead ass, hold on. I'm dead ass. Let me go knock on the door. Okay, no, I got stuff to do. I'm that girl. It's just that I'm that girl. It's like actually so hard to like do anything while that's playing. Like I'm actually, they turned it off because I knew I was jamming. What the heck? If y'all gonna be banging it out, at least let me join too. That's so unfair. Anyways, so how have y'all been? What's new with you guys? What's going on? I know everybody's been talking about, you know, a lot of the same things like Sinners, which yes, it is a fantastic movie. If you haven't seen it yet, please go see it. Just because I'm like, I watched this video of Ryan Coogler talking about like film, like the actual like film that they use for filming and stuff like that, and like he did this whole like, you know, it was like a 6 to 7 minute explanation video about the different types of film and then the different type of like formats that they made Sinners like available in to like go watch in theater. And I'm like, that's actually insane. Like that's actually such an art, and I'm so mad I don't live closer to like a theater that I could go see, like say the 40X like experience, or like there was one, I can't remember the name of it, but basically there was like, it was set up so that you could have like a screen here and then screens here, so it's a very immersive. Bruh, I would think Remix outside my fucking house. Like I'll be go lassie go. I'll be ah! I'll be scared as fuck. And when Cornbread like, ooh, being kind to one another. It is such a good movie, and I feel like I like the conversations that are sparking because of it. Because honestly, I've been experiencing way too many encounters with people having religious psychosis. And I don't know if it's because I work in retail, so if other retail people can like let me know if like people have been coming into your job as well on some like crazy shit. Because I don't know, a lot of people, which I'm like, I think part of it is just because the times we're going through, right? Like, I think society right now is is really down bad. And if you're like one of those people who's like, I don't want to phrase this, just, I don't know, just living a lie. I'm just gonna make it as simple as possible, because like I don't feel close to crashing out at all. Like, I actually, even though life is like crazy on the outside or whatever, when I'm in my home, I'm like in complete peace, you know? Like, my partner and I were talking about this the other day, because we were just both saying how like in our childhoods we didn't really feel like super safe and stuff like that in a lot of regards, and like how much of a blessing it is to feel like so safe like in our homes. Like, for me specifically, because I don't want to like talk about like, you know, her situation or anything without her consent, but like for me, I just didn't feel like safe to 100% be myself. Like, yeah, there were some like physical instances, whatever, but like more so like the main theme was like I just didn't feel safe being myself. I didn't feel like I could be who I truly am and be like loved as well. Like, it felt very like conditional. And even in like the relationships I had prior to like KB, I feel like I also felt like I had to be a certain version to still get chosen. Like, I didn't have to, like, I couldn't be 100% myself, because there were just like things that like, you know, I felt like I couldn't do or couldn't say or whatever. And in this relationship, I just feel so wholeheartedly like loved, like thoroughly, and just like for myself. So just like the amount of peace that I get to experience is just like so, it's just like overwhelming or just like breathtaking sometimes. Like, I just feel so like, you know, thankful for that. But then I'm like, that's probably why the people that I'm seeing in the streets that are like crashing out with religious psychosis are going through what the fuck they're going through, because they're like, they're doing the opposite. They've created, you know, whether consciously or subconsciously, an environment in which they are like not safe, or they're just in an environment where they just don't feel like they can even, and not even just safe to be like queer. I'm not even saying that. I'm just saying like safe in general, just like to be themselves. Because I feel like a lot of people are just pretending to be someone, whether it's like, you know, you're pretending to be like the it girl on like social media or something like that, or you're pretending to be an alpha male so that people think that you're one type of person when you're like really not, and you're just like not doing the like deeper level work of like exploring who you really are and what that means. When other things like, you know, all the crazy shit Trump's been doing and like the fucking tariffs, I don't know, like when all of that other stuff starts going on, you're gonna lose it, and you're gonna be like, oh my god, this is all happening because I'm not living my life the way that God said to, and now I need to make sure that other people start doing it so that they can not go to hell. And it's like, girl, like, why are you so focused on what other people are doing? Like, it's not gonna get you to go to heaven just because you're like forcing someone else to like come to your church. Like, you're still a domestic abuser. That's not gonna erase that. You can't just be like, oh God, I'm so sorry for my sins, and like continue to just be like a terrible person. Like, you need to do the work to like get over that. And a lot of like these people that I think I've been encountering are just like, it just gives that. I don't know. And something about it too just gives so disingenuine. Like, it just doesn't, if that's like the right word, it just doesn't feel genuine is what I'm trying to say. Like, their energy about it just feels so odd and weird. And like when I'm looking at them like they're kind of fucking crazy, they're just trying to like double down on like the fact that they're not. But it's like, I know you don't even want to be in my job right now, like trying to like preach to me or like convert me to this or that. Because even the roundabout ways they've been going about it is so weird. Like, they'll come up to me, pretend to just like want to talk about something, you know, completely random, and then like somehow in a really weird way segue it into like, yeah, so you should come to my church. What? Or like, yeah, you know, like, by the way, like, you know, if you listen to music, you're going to hell. What are you fucking talking about? You fucking doofus? Like, this is why you're in a mental prison. Like, you're putting all of these rules that like God never fucking said. Some white man sat down, wrote those rules, and then y'all are following it and wondering why you're like not feeling okay, or like you're feeling upset at your life or the world. And it's like, because you're following rules made up by like an egotistical white man. Hello? And it's just hard because I'm like, as someone who like grew up in the church, I understand like because of the religious trauma, like I can understand why that's where y'all go when like things aren't going like well in your life, especially since there's like spirituality is very much so real, and it's like the only form of spirituality you know and you recognize is like Christianity because that's all you've been taught. So you're like, oh, okay, well, that's what I need to be doing then. If I can recognize that spirituality is real, I can't then deny the presence or the validity of these rules in, you know, this set context that I've been taught them. But like, this is why critical thinking is really important. Like, you can't just like believe stuff just because someone tells you to. You need to do the deeper like inquiry, like figure out what resonates and what doesn't, and not in a sense of like you just don't want to like follow that rule, so you're trying to be like, well, yeah, blah blah blah, that doesn't resonate. Like, genuinely, like, does it make you a bad person to be queer? No. Is that actually something that like God is against? Also, no. Does it make you a bad person though to like be a cheater? Yes. Does it make you a bad person to be a domestic abuser? Yes. Does it make you a bad person to like, these are the questions that you need to be like actually trying to get down to the root of, you know? And just stop making it like our faults that you're like living a life that you hate. Because like, I'm sorry, like as someone who like had to choose difficult decisions time and time and again just so that I can like live the happy existence I live now, it's worth it. But like, I didn't make anyone else suffer because I didn't want to like choose myself. When I wasn't choosing myself, I was not a good person. I don't think I was like a mean-spirited, like my heart wasn't like a bad person. I was just like sad and hurt and angry all the time, so I just wasn't nice. And like, you know, that was like when I was in high school, so I'm just like, I'm glad I like grew out of that. But, you know, for y'all to be at your big ages and still doing it, like when all you have to do is just like start making decisions that'll like lead you to a happier existence. Like, every time you feel trapped in a decision, you're not. Like, there's actually like infinite choices you can make. And like, if you guilt yourself into doing one thing versus the other, and then you do that option instead of like what would actually make you feel better, you're just perpetuating like your own misery and then like the misery of those who have to like experience that version of you as well. If that makes sense to you, it makes sense to you. If it doesn't, like, I don't tell you. It's just like very true, you know? Like those people that you meet that are like just terrible, terrible people, just like so rude, so nasty. They're just unhappy. They're sad. They're hurt. They're like navigating through life miserable with the baggage of all of their like traumas because they're not working on them and like all of those things. And it's like, if you want to be like that, go for it. But that's just not gonna be me, babes. Like, you really only get one life in this like form, you know, this form that you're put here in this one time. Whether you believe in reincarnation or not, that doesn't matter, because everybody can agree that like from the moment you're born, you're in this body, and like until you die, you're in this body. So it's like, why would you spend that whole entirety of your time in this shell living a fake existence? Like, we're on a floating rock. Just like do what you want to do. Do what you want to do. Speaking of, I think I want to make I think I want coasters. I think I want to make coasters. Because we don't really use coasters, but I feel like they're cute when they just kind of sit on the table. I feel like they could be like a table art type of thing, but then they also then have a functional purpose. Like, I like stuff like that. And like, I have a coaster on my nightstand that like, I didn't make it, but I painted it when we went to a painting pottery place or whatever for a friend's birthday. And like, I just like that it sits there. Like, if I want to put a cup there, I can, but if not, I like that it's just there. So I feel like I want to make something like that for out here on this table. What do you guys think? Should I do a raised edge? Like, should I fold this in to make a raised edge, or should I like do another edge around this? I don't know, this is actually kind of big for a coaster, no? Let's scrap it, and then let's redo it. But yeah, anyways, what else has been going on, you know? I mean, just a lot of craziness in general. I do feel like I've just been, like, the people I've been, like, interacting with, though, at work have just been so weird. Like, everybody's just been weird. We've been making the joke that, like, oh, the loony bin's been let loose, but I'm like, in all reality, what is going on? Like, I need y'all to start doing, like, therapy and stuff like that. I know it's not like an accessible thing, and I know not all therapists are actually like helpful, so I wish there was a way to like an easier way to bridge that gap. But I just want y'all to get help, because then the sooner y'all get help, the sooner I don't have to deal with whatever the heck y'all are doing. I'm happy that Ryan Coogler made Sinners. I feel like that is like really such a good movie. But I also feel like it just also stands out so much more because like all the other media that we're being forced to consume is so like booty. Like I'm so tired of like these white producers, writers, directors, like making these cornball ass movies. Like I'm sorry, y'all are just not as like talented. And it's like quite literally white people's fault. Like they're gonna be like, oh, Nick, you're being prejudiced against white people. No, the hell I'm not. It's just true. When you hold their works of art up against like, I mean, mostly like the black and indigenous folk be taking it, but like BIPOC people in general, it's just like across the board the BIPOC people are taking it, but it's like because we had to become so much better to even get to like remotely in the door that y'all have had like opened for you for like generations. So it's just like if you've been allowed to be mediocre for the last like 10 generations, why would the 11th generation be a genius? You're just gonna be like, if anything, just slightly, like, at most slightly less mediocre, but it's still like mediocre. But because like, especially the way the film industry is like set up here in America, it's like, I mean in other places too if you think about it, but here in America is what I'm talking about right now. It's like the ones who are getting in the door are like, oh, well, my dad's been a producer for years, so like he got me an internship at this studio, and then now I'm like, you know, helping, I'm like a PA for this person, and oh my gosh, now I just stumbled into like the writer's room, and now I'm writing my own show. Like, I think nepotism's only okay when that kid still like works their ass off. Like, a good example of that, Willow. She used her nepotism right, because like her music is fantastic. She be making some really good fucking art, but it's because she puts her like passion into it and is like trying to become like a better musician as she like develops. Another example, Blue Ivy. Everybody's been showing clips of Blue Ivy killing it on the Cowboy Carter tour, and it's like y'all could literally see the clear difference from when she first started performing. Mind you, this is still a child. From when she first started performing to like now, and she's like killing it. But it's because she's putting in the hard work and the practice and the effort. Y'all be letting these kids like come out and just do whatever, and not even just kids, I'm just saying like, you know, the meaning kids, I'm just saying like the nepo babies in the industries that are like ruining media for all of us. I mean, because I'm like, has media even been good in the first place? Because I'm like, that's why you can have people like Jordan Peele or Ryan Coogler like make like the first creative film in like the entire year that we've actually seen, and everybody's going like goo goo fucking gaga over it. But it's just because we're so starved for actual good media. Like, I'm sorry, the last time movies made such a like big, you know, bang or whatever was like Barbie and Oppenheimer. I don't give a fuck to watch Oppenheimer, and Barbie, I watched it against my will, was not even as like good as y'all want to like make it seem. Like Barbie versus Sinners, like Sinners taking that. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not even trying to be like, oh yeah, Sinners taking that because Barbie sucks is a movie about, like a movie about white feminism versus Sinners. It's just like Sinners is taking it, but it's just because it's so out of the box. It's so out of like what everybody else is doing. But it's like, obviously they're black writers, directors, producers. Like they kind of have to be this much better to even get their foot in the door. Same thing with authors. Like I've said in my previous videos, I have solely been reading like black authors for the last couple of years. Occasionally, like, you know, I prioritize like black authors, but I'll occasionally read other like BIPOC, like, you know, people of color, indigenous folks' works of art, and stuff like that. But it's just because like I can't even bring myself to read a book written by a white person anymore. It's just from the moment I open it, I'm like, this is fucking cringe. Like, this is not good. Like, I could make a parody right now. If y'all would give me a check for it, I would do it too. But I want to make actual good art. I don't want to just make something just so I can get the money. Like, I want to create stuff that people will want to consume. Like, cause y'all can't even come in my comments or anything like that and argue with me, cause you really want to compare like what, Colleen Hoover to like any of the black authors I've read recently. Honestly, like, they're taking it. That stuff is not good, and y'all be so traumatized, and instead of working on your traumas, you just be putting us through it. And by the traumas, I mean your terrible works of art, please. And stop these nonsense tropes. Like, it's not, we need to stop normalizing some of these things, because this is how this stuff keeps getting perpetuated. People see it and they're like, oh, that means it's okay. And it's really not. It's really not. Newsflash. It's not. In other news, I got the base of my coaster done. It's not perfectly round, but I'm like okay with that, you know? When y'all actually want to do stuff that's like merit-based, like actually people who are like good at it, as opposed to just like letting people in just because they have money or like they have the access to it, it's about to be like black people on top. And honestly, I can't wait to see it, because I'm so tired. Like, when I tell you the only good movie I've seen so far this year is Sinners, and we are like almost halfway through the year, and I've tried watching other movies. I've tried. I've literally like, I've really tried. Like, for example, that Opus movie, I was trying just because like Iowa Debris was gonna be like, or was the starring, like the main character or whatever. I had started watching it before I went to go see Sinners. After seeing Sinners, I couldn't even like finish it. Like, I got probably another like 15 minutes into it, and I was just like, this is just so... Because I'm just like, you can just always tell when something's written by a white person, and more specifically when it's written by a white man. It's just it's like the tropes that they write. I'm like, you guys are actually really weird, and you should be in therapy. I'm a huge advocate for therapy, but only if it's like an actual good therapist, not like just like you go in, you say like, this is why I'm upset this week, blah, 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 and they're just like, aw, and then you pay them and then you leave. Like, I mean like someone who's actually helping you work through like your traumas and unpacking them and unlearning them and, you know, moving through them. Because if not, like, you're just gonna keep repeating the same things over and over and over, and then unfortunately us as innocent bystanders have to like interact with that as well. And I'm tired. As someone who's doing the work and has done the work, I'm tired, y'all. Get up and do the work. I just don't want to see it no more. It's just like a lot of like grown adults just acting like they're still like 14 years old, and I'm like, whatever. You know, oh, you didn't get to take your homecoming, the person you wanted to take to homecoming, you know, back in 2011. I'm so sorry to hear that, but you can't let that be your villain origin story. You gotta move on past that. It's really not that big of a deal. Or like, oh, the one who got away, you were 16. Of course you think you thought they were the one that got away. Like, I feel like people talk about healing your inner child a lot, but I feel like they always neglect to say like healing your inner teen as well. Because your inner teen was still a child. Like, I think in our society they make us feel like you're more grown as a teen, and it's partially because the pedophilia aspect of our society versus like the, you know, other aspect where a lot of people, or the older generations, I feel like were kind of pushed into adult things in their teens, and then by the time they were in their late teens, like early 20s, they were already living like married, kids, house type of life. So I just feel like those were like their glory days, so then that's just the trope that's been like passed down through the generations. But we were still kids in just like slightly bigger bodies. So like, whatever logic you thought you had back then is probably not something you want to be basing like your emotions and your feelings off today. For example, those men who are like, yeah, my first girlfriend at 14 that I lost my virginity to like broke my heart, so I've been cheating on women ever since. That's another reason why y'all shouldn't even be having sex in high school or like as children. Because what are you talking about? But if you like think about it, like if you think about sex being a drug because of the like, you know, chemical reactions that happen in your brain that are like released when you have sex, it really is kind of like a drug. So it's almost like the equivalent of like letting a teenager like do cocaine or like do a really like hard drug besides cocaine, or like drinking. It's like things that like, you know, some kids are doing at that age, but like realistically you really shouldn't because your brain's still developing. It's like the same vibe for me. Like, I don't think we should normalize the whole like, we lost our virginity in his pickup truck outside in the cornfield at 16, he's my one and only. Like, we should stop normalizing that, because I do feel like it alters your brain in a way that just like, you have to then do a lot more work as an adult to like heal from. But we don't live in a society that like tells people to prioritize doing that type of work. So then I feel like they just become like 45, 72 and still like on the same toxic bullshit they were on their whole lives, until one day they're like on their deathbed at 85 and they're like, I wish I wasn't such a terrorist my whole life. It's like, you could have stopped at any time. Like, you could have stopped. When the kids stopped coming to visit you, when they said you're not gonna meet your grandkids, when your first, second, and third wife all left you, there's just so many signs. There were so many signs. It's just like, sometimes I just feel like, me and my partner talk about this a lot too, how we just feel so like different from the society that we're just like, can we just not participate? Like, how do you opt out of living here with y'all? Like, because it's not even like I can go to like a remote island or something and then I'm like in peace. It's like, you know, I'd still miss like my family or like my friends, or like, you know, if I ever want to just go on a roller coaster again, it's like, boom, right back in the same situation, dealing with y'all, doing all this hoopla. It's just like, ideally, in my ideal utopia, it's like, from the moment you're brought up, everybody's taught like emotional stability, everyone's taught emotional maturity, everyone's taught how to navigate their feelings, and like, you know, traumas are talked about, traumas are addressed. We don't live in such a traumatic society, you know, meaning like, you know, capitalism is taken away, like people can afford to live, people aren't on the streets, universal health care, you know, universal college, just all of those things are provided. So it's like really just like a utopia and everybody could just exist. Like, you know how they talk about Atlantis and they're like, oh yeah, like it's like the perfect city. I think that would be very close for me. There's no more like racism or sexism or like homophobia, transphobia, like Islamophobia, anything. Like, everybody just exists. They coexist peacefully. You are free to do what you want as long as you're not harming anyone. But people don't even have the idea in their head to harm anyone because there isn't any more trauma from all the like violence that like people have suffered the last like hundreds of thousands of years, you know? That would be my ideal society. I feel like it would be really cool to have like another Renaissance. Not just Beyonce's Renaissance, but I mean, if she want to make another one. But like another Renaissance like era, in the sense of like, back then all people were doing were just creating like, well, just creating in general. They're just creating a lot of crazy art, like statues and paintings, and it's like, we got some of the best, like, you know, to this day, some of the artwork that people still go and see and look at is from that era, because people were just like freely creating. And I'm like, imagine if we just allowed everybody to freely create, instead of being like, oh, you need to work like 40 to 80 hours a week so that you can survive and like, you know, make sure there's food on the table for your kids. You can actually just like, oh, if you want to like make clay, you can make clay. Oh, if you want to paint, you can paint. If you want to work on video games, just whatever you want to do, you're allowed to do it. I feel like that would be so dope. I feel like it would also solve a lot of problems, because then people wouldn't be like forcing themselves into like professions they don't like just because of the like money, or like, you know, we would just be taken care of by our government like we should be. Because I just don't really get how like y'all are taking my money to then like oppress me. That don't make no goddamn sense. My issue when I'm creating is that like I always want things to be like, you know, identical, almost like quality control. But I have to just be okay with like, sometimes things are just gonna look a little bit different. It's just like, this one was such a perfect disc for me that I just want that same thing again. But, you know, I'm gonna just have to be okay with it not being that. Or else I'll be stuck in this place forever. And if that's not a lesson for life, I don't know what is. Something else I've been like noticing a lot too, since I've been watching a lot of the old cartoons I used to, I'm realizing everything is really gay as fuck. And like, I'm the number, if you know me, you know that all the time, all I say is everybody's gay, everybody's trans, everybody's gay, everybody's trans. But it's just true. And y'all keep proving me right every time I turn. That's everybody proving me right. Cause like, why are all of these like tropes in television and movies, and like they're trying to make it seem like it's like not like queer, but like it's all really queer. Like, I was talking to my partner about that one episode of Black Mirror where it's like the two guy best friends, and they were in the video game, but in the video game they start like hooking up, and then at the end of the show, like of that episode, he ends up having to tell his wife and this and that. There's a point where they try to hook up in real life, and then they're like, no, like it's just something about the video game. And me and her were just like, no, you guys are gay. Like you want to be together. And like the compromise from the wife was that there's like one day, I think it was either one day a month or one day a year, that they're allowed to like meet up in the video game and have sex, and they wait for that whole time just to go have that one moment. And I don't feel like the writer was trying to be like queer about it. He was trying to be like, no, like guys, it's straight, like to want to like hook up with your homeboys just like once. But it's like, if you think about it, them not, like the thoughts me and her were having last night were like, them not being comfortable with doing it in person was because of like the ideas of themselves in their heads. Like the labels that they've attached to themselves of like, the other one of them was just like single bachelor, always dating all these girls, like, and never finding one to settle down with. That's a classic queer coded character. You can't tell me out of like 500 people, not one, like, you just can't connect with women emotionally like that. I'm sorry to break it to you. The other one has the wife, has the kids, blah, 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 blah. The labels that he puts on himself of like being a husband, being a father, and all of that. It's like, realistically, what y'all want to be is together. And that's okay. And the sooner that like everyone in society realizes like, wait, everybody's a little bit gay and a little bit trans, then we won't have to oppress gay and trans people anymore, and then you guys won't feel like you can't be gay and trans, because then you won't be oppressed either. You see how the whole cycle just collapses and then we're all in peace? But it's like, realistically, the main thing is that like the patriarchy, the white patriarchy specifically, cannot thrive with like queerness and transness and all of those things coming out, because then it's like, how do you equally oppress when people are then like lifting and moving and shifting between like places of power and like positions of like less power? And obviously that scares them, because the only reason why the white men can, cis hetero assuming white men can stay in power is because they've made it so with this hierarchy. But when you destroy the hierarchy, where does that leave them? I don't care. Like, you like, pack it up, girl, because look where y'all have gotten us. Basically in hell. Yay! They're two relatively even coasters. Perfect. Okay. So those just gotta dry then, pretty much. Because like, even the way that like, say for example, they've been attacking the trans community, but it's really just like mostly trans women, because all they're focused on is like the trans woman aspect of it. It's like crazy. Like, how many of these politicians that are passing these bills are like not even recognizing that there's trans men, because they don't be thinking about like what like, female bodies do, or like what female bodies are doing, because they don't actually like women. And I'm not saying trans men are women. I'm just saying that they're focused so much on like men and what other men are doing. So to them, in their head, they're like, well, one, why would a man want to be a woman? Because then now, like, you're losing the power that we have, blah, 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 in society. But then, two, they're mad that, like, trans women are choosing to transition and, like, just be themselves when it's like they're trapped in that container and won't allow themselves to. It's like you're rabid and foaming at the mouth because you're, like, mad that she's out here living her best life. And it's like, you could be doing the same thing, too. And instead of, like, admitting that, instead you just want to be like, well, God said it's wrong, so... No, a white man said it was wrong. God did not say it was wrong. Like, one of my favorite quotes of all time about, like, transness are that, like, God made trans people for the same reason that, like, he made like grapes and not wine, or like flour but not, well, he didn't make, you know what I'm saying, like flour but not bread, so that like humans can aid in the part of creation. Like, you can take your avatar, this body, and do whatever you want with it. Your soul is like one thing. It's separate from this body. And anyone who's gone to a funeral knows exactly what I'm talking about. Because I feel like that's the biggest proof. Because like a body that doesn't have a soul in it looks so different. Like, it looks different, it feels different. It's honestly kind of like freaky to me to think about, or like to see the times I've like gone to funerals. So it's like, you know, it just proves that that is just your shell. That has nothing, that's why it stays here. Like, when you've, you know, moved on, your essence leaves it and then it just stays here. But your essence lives on. But, you know, that also means that you're not really confined to what this shell looks like. It doesn't make sense to just like, you know, label it and then stick within these labels. You know? And it's like infinite things are possible. Can't wait to paint these. I wonder how long it needs to dry. I should probably put them on the plate. Don't bend, don't bend. Let's make one more little thing with these little pieces. I feel like I want to try to make like a little like statue or something, you know? I'm thinking of trying to make a dog. Oh my gosh, I should make my cat. Luna. Oh, she's knocked out. Yeah, she's sleeping good. That's that sleep you get when you don't gotta pay bills. I wonder what that's like. It's okay. I'm really strong. It's just like crazy because there's just like a day, one day where someone was like, oh guys, like, no, you have to pay for that now. And like everyone was just like, oh, okay. And then started doing that. Like, there's a point where everything was free. Like, you just built your own home, you found your food, you cooked it, or you foraged it, whatever. You made your clothes, and you're just like, all right, I'm living. And then there's just like a point where like, they were like, well, actually, we want to make money off of the fact that you were born and need to like eat, sleep, and breathe and stuff like that. So yeah, we're gonna need you to start paying for all of that. And then boom, mental illness. Honestly, guys, I just think we should never forgive white people for inventing mental illness. Throw them in the brig. Oh my gosh. Okay, anyways, y'all, I'm gonna have to catch you later because I just saw that my wife wants me to come by and meet up with her. And one thing about me, if my wife is calling, I will come. So I will see you guys later. Thanks for joining me while I made my coasters. We will do another part 2, or maybe I'll show you guys another time when I get to like, when they're dry and I get to paint them, because I already know what ideas I kind of want to go for. So I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks for chatting with me. If you have any comments that you want to drop them. If you want to argue with me in the comments, though, don't do that. It's because when I prove you wrong, you're going to feel stupid. Or I just might not even respond, and then you'll look doubly stupid, so. But anyways, y'all, I'll catch y'all in the next one.